Yeah, that's why we're here, brother. So I just appreciate you having me on to get some stuff done.
No, I appreciate you doing this as well, considering, I said, that business as well. But of course, as what we're building up to in a matter of days. But first things first, I
Yes.
just want to check in. How you doing? How are you doing today?
Great, man. Woke up in sunny California. So there's worse places to wake up. There's worse places to be. Um, Beautiful out right now. It's low 60s. Um, it's sunny. I'm about to get some coffee after this interview, have some food, and then the band is we have a day off today, so we're gonna head to an LA Clippers game, and that should be pretty rad.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome because I wanted to ask as well, generally, then, because we are 2 days, effectively 2 days away from the release of the self-titled album. How is the
Yeah.
everyone in the band doing at the moment?
Great, man. Everybody is very excited about the 2 days leading up to it. Obviously there's lots of excitement and bubble guts of everybody getting ready to have this thing out into the world. So everyone's very excited. Everyone's in good spirits. The tour has that we're on right now has been great. So can't complain, man. Everyone is very happy. And then we're just ready to get this thing out and enjoy the ride.
In the live shows you've been doing, the new stuff that you've debuted and put out there, how has that been going down with the listeners?
It's been going great. We curated a very diverse set of old and new material to kind of make sure that the fans that were coming out to see some of the old stuff. We wanted to keep them happy and give them that nostalgia love and play some old stuff. But to see the new songs, to see people who are primarily old fans still singing the new songs has been really great. It's a killer feeling to know that all the OG FTFD fans that have been around are also being very open and receptive to the new stuff. We've also noticed lots of new faces, which has also been killer. We've had fans that have come up to us and said, "I just found out about you guys this summer from the singles." So to be a band as long as we have and still have people coming up to us and saying, "I just found out about you guys because of your new material," is a really cool feeling, man. Some people that might offend them, like, "Oh, you've never heard of my band," but us, we're like, yeah, like, yes, that's great. New faces, new fans, new heights. So it's all been very positive out here, and the new songs they're going well, man. It's great to play them live. It feels great.
That's incredible. It's a bit. I love that you've got that feeling towards new fans, of course, because ultimately that's a major part of the goal. You do want to please those that have been with you on the long journey that you
Right.
guys have been on, but new people, people that were maybe very young when the first record was first released, have grown up and now
Right.
come across you. That's amazing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the record is for our debut album. So some of these fans have been, listening to us for 15 some years. And we have fans in the crowd that are like, "Hey, I just found out about you guys, last year or 6 months ago or a couple years ago." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." And, I can tell they're younger. So I'm, "Well, how old are you?" And, we've gotten a few, "I'm 18 or I'm 20." I'm like, "So when our first record came out, you were 3.
Yeah,
3 years
baby.
old." So it's a trip sometimes, but we were really young when we wrote that. We were 18, 19 years old when our first record came out. So mid 30s now. So we're not too old, but it's
Yeah.
still, when someone tells you they were 3 when your album came out, it's a reality check that time is moving.
Yeah, you are right on that. It's not about being an old band, as it were, but it is like, oh wow, we have done this body of work over this period of
Yeah,
time, and time is
absolutely.
moving forward, as you say.
Mhm.
Particularly then, going along the stages as we work towards a build to this release, have you felt any pressure to deliver on expectations? Because having heard the record, it is
Mhm.
such a confident sounding release. It feels like there
Thank
is
you.
no pressure at all here.
There was no pressure in writing it. There was, I mean, as far as we were very, there's a very clear path of what we wanted to achieve with this record. The
Mm.
most pressure, I would say, was kind of with me internally. This is my first album singing. I've never sang on a record before. I've only been clean singing for maybe 2 years. So I kind of went into the recording process just kind of blind, I guess, in a way. What is how is this gonna I know I can, I know I can do it. But once you're there and you're in the studio and you're putting pen to paper and you're tracking these songs, it's kind of like a, well, here we go. There's no,
Mm.
there's no turning back now kind of thing. And yeah, there was a little bit of pressure in that aspect, I guess, for me, just for me to be able to deliver. And then in turn, live as well. Like you can go into the studio and you can do this stuff. You have time, you can go back. Let me redo it again. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. Let me try it this way. And you can get that. Recording is a little easier to find that, but live is a whole nother beat. Like when that part's coming up, you better be able to nail it. You know what I mean?
Well, considering that pressure that you put under yourself and you felt singing on this record, as you said, what preparations did you do to kind of get yourself into a more positive mindset into doing it?
But, as long as I've been doing this, the one thing that I really helped with not being too overwhelmed was that I have great vocal control. I've through screaming and pitch screaming and different layers of my voice, I've been able to feel very confident in that space, that I know when it comes to any sort of heavy or harsh vocals, this is easy. So
Yeah.
that gave me a kind of a heads up to learn how to sing. While I didn't have any vocal lessons, it was still something that I knew. Well, I'm very good at being a chameleon with my voice. I can do lots of different styles. So if I can just translate that into singing and find the right timbre and the right tone, the rest of it'll come. It's just finding that control, because I didn't have the vocal control confidence in clean singing that I have with screaming. So it's just kind of relearning. It's kind of going back and retracing my steps of, okay, how did I do this when I was doing this record or screaming on this? Like, how are we gonna translate that to clean vocals? And there was all sorts of challenges, because every song is different. I approach the clean singing in each song differently. There's songs that are in completely different keys than others. There's some that come very natural for me that are in a much lower timbre, or there's songs that are very high that I was like, whoo, that's hard to hit. But we didn't. Some of these songs were just we just wrote the songs without keeping in mind that, like, hey, if we're gonna sing on this part, this key in this song is a little harder to hit. But that was good for me. It was good to have that challenge of, well, you can sing. We know you can sing in that lower key, but here's something that is out of your range. How are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? And again, it goes right back to making it work, finding ways to reach that that key to make it sound good. And everything that came out through the record, in my opinion, is pretty passable. So I was very pleased with how we got there.
Did the rest of the guys in the band or people in your personal life work quite nicely as sounding boards for whether perhaps if there was a tone or a particular vocal delivery that you didn't feel super confident on, that you were able to and play to them or friends and family and say, no, this is nailed, or this what needs to be improved, and so on?
Absolutely. Like, so all the guys in the band are all singers as well. Guitarist, drummer, bassist, vocal, like all of our guys all sing. So being able to bounce that off them and say, how do you think I should approach this? There's no egos here. You know what I mean? Like some guys, I'm like, I'm going to do it on my own, and it's not, I'll figure it out. Like this is a team. This is a group. This is a collective where you need to be able to bounce off. If you can't bounce off ideas and, doubts and your internal team, what do you really have? So the fact that I've had the support that I have in my internal group with the band, and then even our producers, to bounce ideas off them, and doing rewrites, doing the all the vocals. We tracked all of that and did all the vocal production with a close friend of mine, DL Laskowitz, who sings for the band Bad Wolves. So we did all the stuff there, and him being one of my closest friends, it was easy for him to say, hey man, like, that's not it. Let's try it this way. Let's try it this way. And him being the singer songwriter that he is, I can confidently say, like, okay, I trust his judgment. And same with the band, like, for them to help me, they all have picked it up. Even live, there's stuff that live, it's easier for me if I'm doing a full screaming line into a singing line. I'll have one of the guys pick up a chunk of a verse or a chunk of a chorus. So as far as that goes, and then the team and family and friends and producers, everyone has been extremely supportive, and it's really helped me feel confident in the vocalist that I am now.
When you kind of first put music out from this album, the build up and the singles and so on, did you kind of watch that space quite carefully as a confidence getter to see the reaction from the listeners on the YouTube comments and so on? Because it's been predominantly positive all the way up to this point.
Yeah, that first song was a doozy because
Mm.
everyone haven't heard anything new from us in almost 5 years, and then we come out with What If, and What If is even a different track for the record, let alone our entire catalog. So to come out with a song like What If that has like some kind of flow and rhyme and big choruses, it was a very low tempo song. It was a very slow song. So to put that out as our first
Mm.
track that people have heard in 5 years was I've heard people say it was very jarring, but that was the point, man. We just wanted to. If you come out safe, I don't know what's there to talk about. What's there to talk about if you're being safe? So
Mm.
we were like, okay, this is a good song. It's a great song, and how are how are we gonna get people to really like say like, okay, what the hell is going on here, good or bad?
Yeah.
And we saw What If as being that track to kind of to lead with, and we've had, like you said, lots of positive stuff, lots of wow, like I didn't know Chad was a singer. I didn't know he could sing, or I didn't know the band had this much texture. Or I didn't know they could do this style of music, or this is awful, or every aspect of it, good, bad, in between. You know what I mean? It's all part of the game. You can't have success without love and hate, and you can't have success without critics. And it's you just have to fully embrace what you're doing, believe in it, and be genuine, and everything
Mm.
else from there will follow suit. You know what I mean? So the fans overall have been great. You're gonna have people that say, play the old stuff, and that's cool. And we will. We
Yep.
got a large catalog. We still will play some old stuff, but all in all, it's been a very positive, enlightening experience with this new stuff.
It has, and I'm really glad that you feel that as well, because I spend a little time cursory going through your comments and stuff, just trying to get an overall view out of my bubble in the UK of what perhaps the
Sure,
rest of the world feels as
sure.
well. So it's been really, really heartening to see that, particularly as I
Yep.
think people now are beginning to understand what the vision was behind this record. When you first started off, going all the way back then, did you have a clear vision for what you wanted the overall record to be? Or was that something that grew later?
Um, it started out with a very clear idea of where we wanted to go with it, and like I've said, I knew that this record was a record where I really needed to be the guy. I needed to
Mm.
step up. I needed to be the guy. I needed to be the best that I've ever been with screaming. I needed to be the best that I've ever been with my flow and all that. I needed to be the best I've ever been being a first time singer. I needed to come out batting 100, and I took a lot of time to dial in that personally to get to where I wanted to be the best version of myself. The music then helped. It was tailored to kind of fit what I was trying to achieve in the earlier songs.
Mm.
And then as we progressed, we were kind of finding that identity of, well, this works, and let's do a song like this. This is okay. This is fun. This fits what we're trying to do. So in the earlier bits of it, it was trying to tailor some of these songs to what I was trying to achieve with all of these new vocal styles. Once we found out, that I was able to do this stuff, and it was we felt as if, okay, we're really on something here. Like this is the best music, the most progressive music the band has ever written. Let's continue to follow suit with that, and the songs now were kind of giving themselves their own identity,
Mm.
and then it wasn't strictly just written to my vocals. We were writing songs that were like, okay, well, this is just like Without You was just a slower 3/4 time signature song. It came in the fourth quarter while we were in the studio. and it's the main single of the record. It's the track we're leading with off this record. And the reason it was able to be that is because we had a very clear identity of what we were doing with the record now. So that song that came in last minute fits like a glove because we had a very clear distinction of this is what this record aesthetically sounds like, and this fits the mold, and this is what we would like to do. So absolutely started out to tailor to my new style of vocals and to complement what I was doing. And as time progressed, the record found its own identity in all those songs that came after.
How did you back then as well, particularly tailor, or should I say curtail, the early experimentation that you had going on? You describe and say talking about trying to fit your vocal style, but obviously that involves so much experimentation, and then eventually it settles down and you changed how you're doing that. But of course, the end result, and you've touched upon it yourself, is an experimental album to a degree. It is very much still For the Fallen Dreams, and you can hear that in many moments. But kind of calming the experimentation down, or getting to a point where you were like, yep, okay, this is as far as we're going to push the limit. Did you have that moment, and how did you get there?
There was never a moment that we were going to say this is as far as we're going to push the limit. There was never any clear distinction of what we weren't or were going to do. Everything, all bets were off. Whatever we wanted to do, we did. And I think that's very clear. And if you listen to our first record and then you listen to this album, it's like, okay, they went from being a very heavy, moshy, melodic metalcore band to there's a 20-second long guitar solo. So that's what, as you said, that's one of the things where we just, all bets were off. As far as the experimentation to get there, for me to feel as tailoring those songs to what I was trying to do, having multiple producers, hands in the pot, absolutely helped. Having a few outside writers to work with our internal team, where it wasn't just me and Jim, or me and Damon, or me and Mark. Like, we had a very large group of guys and outside writers and outside producers that we've worked with in the past that we trust to come in and write songs with us. And that absolutely helped with finding some of that identity. Because having outside ears to be like, well, guys, I know the songs you have, but here's some stuff that I have in my head that kind of fits what you guys are doing. Why don't we try this? And having outside producers doing that helped us open up more, helped us be like, okay, well, we trust this guy. We've worked with this guy. This is something that kind of, it works, and we can kind of tailor this to now the record or myself. So we got to skip a lot of wasted time of just one or two guys going through 20 to 25 songs. We had outside ears of guys that we've worked with and that we trust to kind of help tailor certain parts, whether it be just a verse or just a chorus or even a guitar solo. Having that really helped move the process along a lot quicker.
Is it fair to say that even though it was a lot of experimentation, regardless of that, the fruitfulness of the sessions resulted in not a lot ending up on the cutting room floor, that what we get on the album, the new album, the self-titled album, is pretty much what you started out and aimed to get?
Absolutely. That was a big part of this record. We wanted every song for us to be able to go in and say, this can be a single, this can be a single, this can be a single. That, it's hard to do, and it's a great problem to have. And that was one of the things, we've had songs on other records and where I, even myself, have said, that song's okay. Sure, it's not my favorite. Let's move on. It's on the record. And that is the mentality that we moved away from. And I moved away from out of the gate. I did not want to have any song that I wasn't completely 100% happy with. So every song that is on the record is one that we made sure we all felt good about. A song that we were like, we can take this to radio, or we can do that. We can do a music video for this, or we can play this live. There's not a single sleeper track, in our opinion, on the record that we can't use.
Even now, do you still feel that? Because I know, of course, in the long work and the build that you have to get to the actual release date to send it out into the world, that there can almost be a sense of apathy that sets in about your old music that then might be reinvigorated when you finally get to the release.
Sure. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I still feel that way. You know, we
Oh,
still jam
great.
the record pretty religiously. You know, I took a minute, like 3-4 weeks, to kind of just not, not to give it a break and revisit it right before this release, and we jammed it as a whole in the van on the drive a couple nights ago, and it's a cool feeling when everyone's like, "Yo, turn this part up," or "This is my favorite track. Go back. Let's hear that part again." Like everyone feels very confident in what we've done. Yeah, brother.
Is there one track in the album then, in particular, that hasn't been released yet, of course, that you are most interested then to hear what the listeners are gonna think? And if so, why that track?
Searching.
Ah,
Searching is it's a very easy. That's an easy one. Searching is undoubtedly probably my favorite song on the record. It is very different from anything the band has ever done. It is recorded on an 8 string. It's drop tuned down into the depths. It's very low tuning, but it is a very ethereal, very slow, emotional song, which makes it very unique. It's not quite like something we've ever done. And this song is, you can feel what I'm feeling in this song. I was very passionate about every word that came out of my mouth on this song, and all the lyrics and the writing and everything that I've done. Um, you can hear that, and that's one of them songs, and it's one of those moments when you can connect in that way. Even for me, I still go back and I'll listen to it, and it will give me goosebumps because it's just, I felt so strongly about every word that I was saying in the song. It's sonically, it's again, it's very different, and it's just a very different from anything, and I'm repeating myself. It really is just very different from anything we've done before, and to hear what the fans think of something like that out of a song like this that's a little out of left field, I'm very curious. It's very reminiscent of early 2000s POD style stuff, like the Satellite record, like very, you know just lots. It's a ride, man. It's a really good song. I love it. I really do. It's probably my one of my favorite, if not my favorite, piece of work that I've ever written.
oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, I'm just very proud of that song. So we'll see. I hope. Again, you can't fake genuine. So I think fans who are going to come into this and be open minded about the release, and they hear Searching, and they're like, wow, like that's a song. That's I believe him. This is all very genuine. And again, it goes back to the release as a whole. Everything is very organic. Everything is very genuine. So Searching is that song, man. And I hope fans dig it as much as I did creating it. I've been sitting on it for quite a while.
That's incredible. It really is. I do, of course, know the song, and I really want to stress this and add to this that on its own, individually, if you heard it, it is a stunning piece of music. But in the context of the album as a whole, and listening to it as part of the entire body of work, there it makes it extra special. I'm glad you love it so much. It is an incredible track, and I think it's going to
Thank you,
go.
man.
I think it's going to turn out to be long term one of For the Fallen Dreams' most iconic tracks.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I believe that as well. So we just take each day as it comes, and enjoy the ride, and let the songs do what they were supposed to do, and that's move people.
Well, it has been such an incredible ride to date. Obviously, For the Fallen Dreams has been around a while, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. What is it about For the Fallen Dreams, and specifically, that you think has allowed you such longevity?
I think a big chunk of that is just believing in what you're doing, not having, and I've said this people before. So, do you have any advice for young musicians, or anybody who's looking to start a band? And I always come back to, you have to love this. You really do, because there's so many ups and downs. For us being on 15 years since our first release, and close to 20 years since the inception of the band, you really have to love this, man. We've had a lot of people come and go. We've had, but our mainstays of the guys in this band believe in what we're doing. There's no plan B. There's no plan C. It's plan A, and that's to make sure that we're able to live out our lives through our art, and that people can connect with it. And then with that comes success. With that comes all the rest of the fun stuff. But first and foremost, it's just believing in what you do. And I love this band. I've been a part of this band since I was a senior in high school. So I believe in what we're doing. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be here. So I think it's just that, man. The longevity comes with persistence and just the love for what you do. That adversity of the ups and downs gives you that. It gives you that jump start every now and again. And for this record, it speaks the most true, because after the pandemic, everyone had so much time to reflect on who they are, who they want to be. Are they on the right path? Or do they love what they're doing? And I'm no different to that by just going through and thinking, is this where I want to be? Is this what I love to do still? Is this just something I'm doing because I'm used to it, or am I doing this still because I love it? And I always came back to, I love this. I love creating music. I love, just pushing the envelope and trying to become better. I love that challenge. And doing this record, it was my biggest challenge yet. And it just showed me that, like, I will continue to do this, and For the Fallen Dreams is my platform. This band has been through so much over the years, and to continue this band into a new era with our 7th album, not a lot of bands can say they've done 7 records as it is. So just to be here, I'm very humbled. Just to be here is a blessing, and each day to be able to come out and play shows for fans and talk to fans and be putting new music out and talking to them about the new record. It's truly a great thing, man. And I believe that this band will continue to push the envelope and hopefully be around for another 15 years when I'm a lot older.
Plenty more time. I can't wait. Chad, we reached the point in the interview now where it's a quick fire round, where we have a random pool of like 500 questions, and we randomly pull 10, just 10, not 500 to be the answer, just 10 that can be both serious and silly, and we just throw them at you and answer them how you please. Okay?
Got it.
So the first one then, it's actually a serious one. A moment in your career that made you realize you were turning a few heads.
A big right out the gate, man. Right out the gate in 2008 when we dropped our first record. We put our Brothers in Arms up on our MySpace page, and it just blew up. And I remember being a kid and releasing that first record with Rise Records and putting up our first songs off our first full official release. And people just lost their minds, and they were like, it was game changing. It was Changes was a record, and Brothers in Arms is one of those, nostalgic cult classic tracks right out the gate. And being a young kid is like, whoa, like this is real. People love this. Like, and the shows following right after, were insane. So those moments and playing that song for the first time and having everyone know those words to that song because it did so well was definitely that moment where I was like, wow, we're doing something here. And that paved the way for what we're still doing to this day.
Amazing. Your earliest memory of playing a video game?
I remember playing Frogger on Atari. You remember Atari? You're an older guy.
Of course, yeah.
So I remember playing Frogger. Yeah, I remember playing Frogger and Centipede on an Atari at my grandparents' house. They lived in a house that my grandfather built, and everyone was sitting around by the fireplace, I remember, and it was middle of the day, and I remember being, I don't know how old I was. I had to been maybe 4,
Mm.
5, 8, maybe, and playing Frogger, just that joystick, that red little joystick. So that's my first video game memory.
Yep, going back a bit there. Have you ever witnessed something unexplainable in your life?
I'm a huge component, or just a believer of the supernatural.
Mhm.
Very deep into that stuff with my wife. We were both very, very in tune with our surroundings and energies and all that type of stuff, to get real
Mm.
hippie on you.
Mhm.
Um, so there has been some things that have happened, just like residual energy in places we've been, where we've know people that have passed, and things kind of happening. I remember just a quick one off the top of my head.
Mm.
It was Christmas of 2016, and my wife and I were sitting in her townhome at the time, and she had a friend that had passed, and we were talking about her. It was very, very emotional talk, 'cause they were great friends, and
Mm.
it was Christmas. There was no air on. There was no door open, and all of a sudden the Christmas tree just shook, and that was something that was, we were like, okay, did that really just happen? There's like, talking about her, and then the Christmas tree moving was just very, very crazy. So we'd like to believe that she was saying hi to,
Oh,
to her
incredible.
or us or whatever it was. Yeah, so that's one of those moments.
That's incredible. It's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
What's your go-to pizza order?
go-to pizza order.
Mm.
I've recently cut out like red meat out of my diet completely. So before that, it was sausage, green pepper, onion, black olive. So kind of like a supreme style. It is now it is, I guess, everything but the sausage. So it is green pepper, onion, black olive, and I'll do like mushroom. That'll keep it. I'm not vegetarian, but so that's usually the go-to.
Yeah, they're nice pizzas. What's been your favorite holiday destination to date?
Oh boy, let's see here.
Mm.
I love that. When you've been touring around too, you know that holiday means vacation. So most people
Yeah.
are like holiday, like, oh, it's Christmas.
Oh,
So
yeah, of
I
course.
love that.
Vacation. Yeah.
I got to read you loud and clear, man. So my favorite holiday thus far in 35 years, um, my wife and I went and visited. I guess it wasn't even really that crazy of a trip, but when we first were our first like year together, we were always. She lived across country, so I was always visiting her, and we would just go take like week-long vacations in like San Diego or Laguna Beach. So Laguna Beach is a very special place for her and myself. So that's one of those trips, man. Laguna is in Orange County, and it is such a crazy like setting in California. You're driving through the mountains, and then all of a sudden it just opens up into this big like surf town, and you're right on the water. The water is beautiful. The waves are huge. So Laguna Beach is one of those stops that I love, and probably one of my favorite holiday destinations.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. What about a bucket list band for the fallen dreams to one day share the stage with?
Limp Bizkit, man. Limp Bizkit's my favorite band of all time. So
Oh,
I would
really?
love to. Oh, absolutely. I would. Now that I say that, now you can listen to the record and be like, okay, I know what he's talking about. But yeah, Limp Bizkit, man. Fred Durst has been and still is like a huge inspiration for me as a vocalist. He's one of the guys that kind of paved the road for me to feel comfortable as a singer, screamer guy. Them or Mudvayne. Mudvayne's another one that would be really rad to do a tour with, or do some routing dates, whatever it may be. We've played some of the festivals, but I don't really count festivals because there's
Mm,
200 bands sharing the stage with any given killer artist. I mean, if that's the case, we've done plenty of European festivals where we've shared the stage with Motorhead, and that's
yeah.
when Lemmy was still around, and so that in itself is super crazy. But to do it tour wise, We're gonna go Limp Bizkit.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. I love that. I love that. I don't think anyone would have expected unless they kind of know your ins and outs of your personal life.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You wake up in the morning. What's the first thing you do?
First thing is I usually check the laundry list of emails that I get each day from managers or the label or PR stuff. That's usually the first thing I do. After that, it's the coffee, brother. Where's my coffee? I got to get this day going. No, I don't answer the emails first, but I'll see all the notifications. I'll see them, and then I'm like, oh, good Lord. I'll put my phone down, and then I'll grab my coffee.
Yeah, then you'll deal with that stuff afterwards.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, there's 4 seasons in a year. What is your favorite and why?
It's fall, man. Fall all day, every day. It's beautiful. It's nice and chilly. You can wear a t-shirt, you can wear a long sleeve, you can wear a hoodie. You got bonfires, you got the changing of the leaves. It's no question, man. It's fall every day, all day long.
Penultimate one. What was the last horror movie you saw, but it had to have had an effect on you? Maybe you got a bit scared, maybe you got a bit thrilled, maybe you got a bit chilled. Can you remember one?
I am a horror movie extraordinaire, man. Like that's go to. I'm always, yes, literally at all times. I did a podcast with a guy, great dude, Zach, I believe his name is. It's called Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks. So it's a horror film podcast, but we still talk about music. So check that out too. It's Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks, super killer podcast. But the last one I saw, I guess that I'm a hard sell with horror movies. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to either draw me in or kind of freak me out. But Hereditary had those moments where I was like, okay, this is a bit much. I think the scene at the end. Have you seen Hereditary? At the end when she's like on the ceiling, banging her head against that door. That part is wild, man. That was one of those moments, and I haven't been, creeped out from a horror movie or like a suspense movie like that in a very long time. So that scene in Hereditary was up there, for sure.
It comes up so often when I talk to people who are big horror movie fans who watch a lot of modern stuff. Hereditary, if not Hereditary or Midsommar, is often the other one. Ari Aster's other movie that tends to be the ones that people go, oh yeah, those were the good modern ones, because I'm sure maybe you'll agree with me. There's a modern horror. It can be very difficult to find something that really stands out.
Very difficult. I think we'll go down a quick rabbit hole with this real quick.
Yeah.
The new Evil Dead remake, or the remake that they did in, what was it, 2015, 2016, that was great. I loved it, man. They did a great job. And I'm really looking forward to the new one that's coming out in April. And then the Conjuring franchise. There's some duds in there, but there's some real, like the original one, the first one is a great movie. So yeah, modern horror is tough, man. The OG stuff is tried and true, so it's a little bit harder though to find good ones these days.
Everybody's done everything. That's the problem.
That is the problem. It's either jump scare, possession stuff, or slasher stuff. So we'll see. Maybe they'll mix it up.
I don't want to get, as I said, don't want to go on too much rabbit hole, get off topic. We've been doing this for a little while, but I have to quickly follow that up and say, of all the different styles of horror that do exist, is there one particularly that you dislike the most?
That I dislike the most? Let's see here. I'm not too big on slasher films.
Oh, okay.
I'm just I like Scream and some of those, but like slasher films, I like a guy in a mask type thing. It's like I need something weirder than that. I need something off. Like The Thing is one of my favorite horror movies. So if that paints the picture of the type of stuff that I'm into, I guess you couldn't really. Can you consider Friday the 13th? Is that a slasher? Is that a slasher film?
I would call that a slasher, yeah.
But it's like a supernatural slasher though, right?
Yeah, it's got that supernatural stuff that comes, like as the franchise goes on, it gets pretty out there.
Right. So that's tough though. But slasher is probably one of my least favorites.
No, fair enough. I get you. All right, last one. I'm going to let you get on with the rest of your day. Across the entire back catalogue of For the Fallen Dreams, you have to choose just one song that sums up the band's sound perfectly to a brand new listener. They come to you and say, hey, play me one song. What would you choose?
I got the rest of my band staring at me right now, like, what's it gonna be, buddy? What you gonna say? That is tough, man. 7 records, probably over 100 songs, to one song to sum up For the Fallen. For a new listener too, so we gotta incorporate some stuff has some singing in it, but we also have to incorporate some stuff that's very heavy. I think a good blend of that and the best aspect is going to be something off Heavy Hearts. So we'll narrow it down there. Question. We'll go either Dream Eater or Emerald Blue, because those are both very heavy tracks, but they're also very melodic, but they also have some texture and singing to it. They have good guitar work, insane drumming. So it's got a little bit of taste of everything. So we'll go with either Dream Eater off Heavy Hearts or Emerald Blue.
Fantastic. It's amazing. Okay, so we're here 2 days away at the time of recording from the release of the 7th self-titled brand new album. Chad, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. It's been an absolute pleasure. Good luck with the rest of the tour. Good luck with the release, and I hope you enjoy the game.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?